Have you ever stopped to consider the incredible journey you've been on as one of God's chosen? The path of the faithful is not one for the faint of heart. It's a spiritual journey that requires courage, strength, and the constant guidance of God's hand. Today, I want to take a moment to reflect on this profound truth about you, one that will deepen your understanding of who you are and why you have been called. Welcome, God's chosen ones, to a deeper revelation of your divine purpose. The world around us often keeps its eyes fixed on what is seen, on the tangible and the material. But as believers, we know that there is an unseen reality at play, one that affects our lives in ways that go far beyond the surface. The greatest deception the enemy ever executed was convincing the world that he didn't exist, that there was no spiritual battle raging beneath the veil of everyday life. Yet you, my friend, have defied all odds. While others walked in ignorance, blind to the warfare taking place in the spiritual realms, you were awakened. You saw the truth. You stepped into the battlefield with courage and faith, even when others hesitated. And what happened? You didn't just survive. You thrived. You didn't simply endure the onslaughts of the enemy, you obliterated 97% of the demonic forces that were sent to destroy you. Imagine that 97%. The victory you've achieved is nothing short of extraordinary. God's grace has carried you, His strength has upheld you, and His wisdom has guided you. It's a victory that deserves to be celebrated, not just for its magnitude, but for its divine purpose. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers over this present darkness, against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly places. Ephesians 6 verse 12. Your battle was real, and you overcame. Let's take a moment to give thanks for the strength that you have received through the prayers and encouragement of others. Every supporter, every prayer, every contribution toward this shared mission is a testimony to the faith and love that surrounds us. Through your generosity and willingness to walk in faith, you are not only standing victorious today, but are also helping to share this truth with a world that desperately needs it. And let us consider how to stir up one another to love and good works. Hebrews 10 verse 24. Your willingness to be part of this greater mission is a part of the divine plan unfolding before us all. As we reflect on your journey, it's essential to realize that the battles you fought weren't random. The emotional turmoil, the mental torment, the relentless attacks on your peace, they were no accidents. These were calculated strategies by the forces of darkness, seeking to disrupt your faith and destroy your purpose. But even though these forces sought to overwhelm you, here you stand victorious. You didn't just dismantle their schemes, you exposed them for what they truly are. You navigated through their traps with wisdom and strength, because you are a warrior of God, equipped with the tools of the Spirit. So what made you different? What made you the warrior the demons now fear? What was it that turned you into a nightmare they dread and whisper about in their infernal circles? The answer lies in your extraordinary ability to exercise self-control. In a world filled with chaos, impulsiveness, and emotional instability, you have cultivated the rare and precious gift of discipline. This self-control has become one of your greatest spiritual weapons. The enemy relies on the manipulation of your emotions. They seek to provoke you, to instigate reactions driven by anger, fear, anxiety, and doubt. Their strategy is clear: to incite chaos and destabilize your inner peace. But in you, their tactics have failed. You have learned the discipline to pause before responding, to reflect before acting. In moments of trial, where others might be overcome with anger or fear, you have chosen calmness. Instead of reacting impulsively, you have chosen to stand firm in your faith. This rare and precious gift of self-control disarms the influence of darkness and strips the enemy of his power. Proverbs 16 verse 32 tells us, "Better a patient person than a warrior, one with self-control than one who takes a city." Your self-control is not just an act of restraint, it is an act of profound spiritual strength that reflects your trust in God's plan. Each moment of peace you claimed was a victory. You didn't allow the enemy to feed on your emotions, but instead you fed your spirit with the peace that comes from God alone. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Exodus 14, verse 14. Your stillness, your peace, has been the greatest weapon you could wield. This victory is not a coincidence. It is the fruit of your deep trust in God's will and the power of His Spirit within you. You have learned the art of waiting on the Lord, of being still in His presence. You have learned that the battles of life are not won by mere human strength or emotional reaction, but by the supernatural strength that comes from a relationship with God. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. Isaiah 40, verse 31. It is in waiting upon God that you find the strength to overcome every obstacle, to defeat every attack, and to stand firm in your divine purpose. As you continue this journey, remember that every victory you've achieved is a testament to the greatness of God's power in your life. Every step forward is not only a personal triumph, but a victory for the kingdom of God. You are a living testimony of the strength that comes from trusting in the Lord. Your journey is far from over, and each day brings new opportunities for growth and transformation. So continue to march forward, knowing that you are equipped for every challenge, every spiritual battle, and every divine appointment. With God by your side, there is no force that can stand against you. No weapon formed against you will prosper. Isaiah 54, verse 17. Now, as you reflect on your victory, stand tall as a warrior of faith. The demons may tremble, but you stand unshaken, knowing that the victory is already yours in Christ Jesus. Step boldly into your next chapter, knowing that God has already gone before you, preparing the way. Continue to walk in faith, for the battle is His, and the victory is assured. Have you ever considered the profound strength it takes to remain calm under pressure, to stand firm when everything around you seems designed to shake you? In those moments of provocation, where emotions could easily spiral into chaos, you've chosen a path of self-control and patience. This is no ordinary strength. This is divine mastery at work. As Christians, we are called to live by the example of Christ, who showed us that patience, self-control, and restraint are powerful tools in the face of life's storms. It's not just about holding your ground, it's about transforming your emotional responses into spiritual weapons. In those crucial moments when others might react impulsively, we have the opportunity to model Christ's peace, standing strong in faith and trust in God's plan. Many fall into the trap of emotional impulsivity, screaming, reacting to every challenge, unknowingly giving the enemy the energy and power it craves. Yet, as followers of Christ, we are called to rise above. The very emotions the enemy seeks to exploit, anger, fear, confusion, become the tools we use to grow spiritually and strengthen our faith. The Lord is my light and my salvation, whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life, of whom shall I be afraid? Psalm 27, verse 1. This is the strength we are called to possess, not a reaction to the chaos around us, but a calm assurance rooted in God's love and sovereignty. Can you imagine the frustration the enemy must feel when, despite throwing every trick in the book at you, you remain unshaken? It's a reminder that your peace, your ability to stay composed, is a powerful testimony of God's presence within you. Your self-control is not just a defense, it is an offensive act of spiritual warfare. By refusing to succumb to chaos, you deny the enemy the very energy they seek to use against you. As C.S. Lewis eloquently states in Mere Christianity, no man knows how bad he is till he has tried very hard to be good in the same way. Your ability to stay calm in the face of trials demonstrates the power of God's grace working within you, strengthening you beyond your own human limitations. Consider the example of Jesus in the wilderness, when he was tempted by the devil. For 40 days he faced relentless attacks, yet he did not respond with anger or fear. Instead, he turned to Scripture, to truth, to God's Word. Jesus answered, "It is written, man shall not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of God." Matthew 4, verse 4. Just like Christ, when you choose calmness over chaos, you declare your authority as one of God's chosen. Every moment of restraint is a declaration of your victory over darkness, a victory that comes from His strength alone. What makes your self-control even more powerful is that it confuses and demoralizes the forces of darkness. The enemy cannot comprehend how you've turned the very emotions they sought to manipulate into barriers against their schemes. It's as if the more they try to provoke you, the more they are thwarted by your unwavering calm. This is why you've triumphed over 97% of the demonic attacks that have come against you, because your mastery of self is a direct reflection of God's strength within you. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, Philippians 4 verse 13. The question now becomes, what will you do with this incredible power? How will you continue to wield it, not just for your protection, but as a beacon of light for others who are still struggling? Your ability to embrace solitude, to seek stillness in a chaotic world, is another profound strength. Be still, and know that I am God, Psalm 46 verse 10. While many people fear being alone because it forces them to confront their deepest fears and unresolved emotions, you have learned to see solitude as an opportunity for transformation. It is in solitude that you find clarity, not only about yourself but also about the subtle manipulations of the enemy that thrive in the noise of the world. The world thrives on distraction, using the clamor of everyday life to pull people away from clarity and purpose. But when you step away from the noise, when you embrace solitude, you disrupt the enemy's strategies entirely. In the quiet, you find the clarity to see the lies, the negative thoughts, and the toxic environments that seek to drain your spirit. By stepping back, you expose these schemes for what they are, nothing but attempts to weaken your resolve. And in this stillness, you reconnect with God, and His peace strengthens you. Your journey is a testament to the power of God's presence in your life. Each time you choose patience, each time you choose self-control, you make a bold declaration of your identity as a child of God. You are not a passive participant in life, you are an active warrior, equipped with the strength of the Almighty to overcome the forces of darkness. And it is this strength, born from God's love and grace, that makes you more than a conqueror. As Romans 8 verse 37 reminds us, no, in all these things we are more than conquerors through Him who loved us. So, continue to stand firm, continue to wield your spiritual weapons with courage and faith, knowing that you are never alone in this battle. The Lord is with you, and He will always guide you through the storms of life. In our spiritual journey, there is immense power in solitude, an idea that echoes through the life of Jesus Christ. In Luke 5 verse 16 we read, "But Jesus often withdrew to lonely places and prayed." Have you ever wondered why the Son of God, despite being surrounded by people, frequently sought solitude? In these moments of withdrawal, He found divine renewal, clarity, and insight. Similarly, your moments of solitude are not just idle times, they are sacred spaces where distractions fade, and God's truth is revealed. Like Christ in the wilderness, you confront your inner struggles, face your fears, and emerge victorious, fortified in your faith. While others shy away from solitude, fearing the confrontation with their own thoughts and emotions, you have embraced it as an opportunity to grow spiritually. In these quiet, reflective moments, you are not alone. God is with you, guiding you through the noise of the world. Be still, and know that I am God. Psalm 46 verse 10 reminds us that in stillness we find clarity and divine direction. Your time spent in solitude is a battlefield where you dismantle the strategies of darkness with precision and determination. You've learned that in isolation you draw strength not from the world but from your connection to the divine, rendering you untouchable by the forces that seek to manipulate the weaknesses of others. What's even more remarkable is how solitude has refined your intuition. Without the constant distractions of the world clouding your mind, you've tuned into divine wisdom. This alignment with God's will has made you an enigma to those who seek to undermine you. Your strength is unpredictable because it comes from a source they cannot reach or influence. In solitude, you don't merely find peace, you become a vessel for God's power to flow through you, making you a force of spiritual resilience and wisdom that confounds the enemy. C.S. Lewis once wrote in Mere Christianity, "The more we let God take us over, the more truly ourselves we become. Solitude allows you to become more truly yourself, because it is in these moments that God reveals who you are in His sight." In the absence of external validation and worldly distractions, you discover your true identity, rooted not in the fleeting opinions of others but in the eternal truth of God's love and purpose for you. Through solitude, you have built a sanctuary, a place where demons cannot tread, where your connection to God shields you from the forces of darkness. It is not just a retreat, but a fortress of faith, self-awareness, and divine connection. The enemy thrives on chaos, emotional manipulation, and the distractions of the world. But you have learned to transform these moments of quiet into a refuge where your spiritual strength is sharpened. As you deepen your relationship with God, you grow more aware of His presence, more attuned to His voice, and more confident in the divine guidance He provides. How does it feel to know that your independence, your ability to remain centered and grounded in God, renders you untouchable by the forces that prey on others' vulnerabilities? This is the incredible power of solitude in your life. It is not just a retreat from the world, but a place of spiritual growth, where you become strong enough to rise above every attack and challenge. So the question remains, how will you continue to harness this powerful gift of solitude? Will you allow it to guide you further in your journey of self-discovery and spiritual victory? Your energy and frequency, attuned to God's will, have already allowed you to triumph over 97% of the spiritual attacks that sought to destroy you. Energy is not just an abstract idea, it is the force that flows from your alignment with the divine, and it is this power that renders the forces of darkness powerless against you. Through solitude, you have not only discovered who you truly are, but you've become a beacon of divine light that others can follow. Continue to embrace this sacred time, for it is in these moments that God strengthens you, refines you, and empowers you to walk in victory. Your energy is a divine reflection of who you are, a powerful emanation of your thoughts, emotions, and actions, shaped by deliberate choices and unwavering discipline. By aligning your life with God's purpose, you have elevated your spiritual frequency to a level where darkness simply cannot reach you. Just as a moth is drawn to the light yet cannot touch the flame, dark forces are repelled by the energy you emit, unable to approach you. The Bible teaches us in 1 John 1 verse 5 that God is light, in Him there is no darkness at all. Your energy mirrors this divine light, piercing through the darkness, rendering it powerless and impotent in your presence. Dark forces thrive in low frequencies: fear, anger, envy, and doubt. These negative emotions create an environment that feeds evil, dragging people into cycles of despair and dependence. Yet, you have chosen a different path. By embracing faith over fear, peace over chaos, and love over hatred, you have risen above the negativity that seeks to dominate. With each choice you make to walk in the light of Christ, your vibrational frequency increases, not only protecting you but transforming you into someone untouchable by the forces of darkness. As the Apostle Paul wrote in Philippians 4 verse 8, "Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things." Your decision to focus on God's truth has elevated your spirit to a place where negativity cannot exist. This transformation didn't happen passively, it was the result of intentional effort. You released toxic habits, let go of harmful thoughts, and distanced yourself from people who drain your spirit. Instead of allowing negativity to linger, you nourished your soul with prayer, scripture, gratitude, and acts of kindness. You built a frequency rooted in God's light, aligning yourself with His divine purpose, and in doing so, you created a protective shield around you. This shield is not just for your own defense but serves as a beacon, intimidating any force that operates in darkness. You have not only cultivated a protective space for yourself but have become a spiritual force to be reckoned with. Your elevated energy is not merely a passive defense mechanism, it is an offensive force that exposes the weakness of dark entities. When they try to latch onto you, your energy burns them out, much like a flame extinguishing the darkness. This is not about magic or superstition, it is about walking in alignment with God's will, embracing the peace that comes from abiding in His light. In Isaiah 40 verse 31, we are reminded, "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles, they will run and not grow weary, they will walk and not be faint." You have soared to heights that darkness can no longer reach, for your hope is firmly rooted in the Lord. As you continue to walk in His light, remember that the peace you carry and the energy you emanate are not of your own making. They are gifts from God, reflecting His strength, His purpose, and His love. Your ability to overcome adversity, to remain unshaken in the face of trials, and to keep your heart aligned with His truth is a testament to His power working within you. And as you continue on this path, you will not only protect yourself but also serve as a beacon of hope for others, showing them that with faith in God, we too can rise above the darkness and walk in the victory that He has already secured for us. This power is entirely yours, a testament to the choices you have made and the dedication you have shown. You did not merely defeat the demons that opposed you, you outgrew them, rising to a spiritual plane where their influence no longer holds any sway. Now the question becomes, how will you use this elevated energy to inspire others to rise above fear and chaos, just as you have? Your mastery of silence has become one of your greatest weapons, a tool so powerful that it has rendered 97% of the demons that once opposed you utterly ineffective. Silence in your hands is not just the absence of speech, it is the presence of unparalleled self-control and divine wisdom. Many people, when faced with negativity, feel the urge to retaliate, defend themselves, or lash out. But you have chosen a different path, the art of restraint. The enemy thrives on reaction. They feed off emotional outbursts, heated arguments, and the chaos of impulsive responses. But each time you refuse to engage, you deny them the fuel they seek, leaving them to flail in frustration. It's as if a flame burns out when there is no oxygen to feed it. This is what your silence does to the schemes of darkness. It denies them the foothold they need to dig deeper into your life, leaving their efforts wasted and their power neutralized. Your silence is not weakness. It is a calculated strategy, one that reflects a deep understanding that not every battle is worth fighting, especially when your energy and peace are at stake. As Proverbs 17 verse 28 states, "Even fools are thought wise if they keep silent, and discerning if they hold their tongues." By choosing silence, you demonstrate not only control but also a higher level of discernment that terrifies your enemies. Have you noticed how much louder silence can speak than any words ever could? Your silence sends a clear and devastating message: I know what you're trying to do, and I won't play your game. Though unspoken, this message strikes deeply at the heart of dark forces, because it reveals their powerlessness against you. They expect chaos, but instead they are met with stillness. They swing, expecting resistance, but instead they hit a void. This unanticipated outcome leaves them directionless, unraveling under the weight of their own chaos. Silence doesn't just shield you, it magnifies your presence. By not reacting, you compel others, both people and spiritual entities, to confront their own actions. Without your response to distract or deflect, they are left to wrestle with the consequences of their behavior. Isn't it fascinating how silence can force reflection in others while protecting your energy at the same time? This approach mirrors the example of Jesus when He stood before His accusers. In Matthew 27 verse 14 it says, "But Jesus made no reply, not even to a single charge. To the great amazement of the governor, his silence was not born of weakness, but of divine strength and purpose." In the same way, your silence reflects a spiritual mastery that shows you operate on a level far beyond the reach of those who seek to provoke you. By starving negativity of the energy it craves, you have suffocated 97% of your enemies into irrelevance. This is not mere survival, it is a form of spiritual mastery. You have turned silence into an instrument of divine power. In CS. Lewis's Mere Christianity, he writes, the only way to be sure of a victory is to cease fighting, and in your silence, you have done just that, ceasing the fight on the external plane, while conquering the spiritual battle within. Through silence, you not only protect yourself, but you also transform the environment around you. Your mind has become your greatest fortress, a stronghold that no dark force can penetrate. By fortifying it, you've obliterated the demon's access to their most vital battlefield. For most people, the mind is where battles are lost before they even begin. Manipulation, fear, and confusion take root, disarming clarity and sowing seeds of doubt. But you refuse to allow this. You've transformed your mind into an impenetrable sanctuary, a process that didn't happen overnight, but through deliberate and disciplined effort. You built this resilience by questioning everything, challenging old beliefs, discarding what weakened you, and nurturing what made you stronger. Through this intentional process, you developed discernment, which became your sharpest weapon. Now, every thought, idea, or influence must pass through the filter of your clarity and purpose. This vigilance makes it nearly impossible for manipulation to sneak in unnoticed. Have you ever wondered how many battles are won simply by recognizing which thoughts are worth entertaining and which ones are not? Fear, one of the most potent tools of the enemy, once held sway over you. It sought to corner and control you, but you dismantled its power by understanding its true nature and illusion. As 2 Timothy 1 verse 7 reminds us, "For God gave us a spirit not of fear, but of power and love and self-control." When fear tried to immobilize you, you leaned into faith, allowing God's truth to guide you through the shadows. Isn't it remarkable how faith can transform fear into a stepping stone for greater strength? Confusion, another favored weapon of darkness, also lost its grip. Where they once planted doubt, you replaced it with understanding and focus. You refused to let uncertainty derail you, instead seeking wisdom and aligning your thoughts with divine truth. James 1 verse 5 promises, "If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives generously to all without reproach, and it will be given to him." By mastering your mind, you have not only protected yourself but also rendered their efforts futile. How can confusion thrive in the presence of clarity and unwavering focus? Your mental clarity has become a barrier so strong that demons can no longer find an entry point. They thrive on weakness, but your inner strength leaves no cracks for them to exploit. Every time they tried to infiltrate your thoughts, you shut the door and locked it behind them. You've reclaimed your mind as your domain, a space ruled by intention, truth, and resilience. What once may have been a battlefield is now a sanctuary of peace and power. This transformation terrifies your enemies. Without access to your mind, they've already lost the war. Both a shield and a weapon, an unshakable defense and a devastating offense. Isn't it incredible to think that silence, often underestimated, holds such immense power when wielded with intention and wisdom? So the question becomes, how will you continue to use this mastery of silence to navigate the battles ahead? How might you inspire others to discover the strength that lies not in their words, but in their quiet, confident restraint? Your mental strength is not just a result of your own willpower, it is a testament to the power that God has helped you cultivate through His grace. As Philippians 4 verse 8 encourages, "Whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things." This divine wisdom guides you in taking control of your thoughts, securing victory before the battle even begins. By focusing on what is pure and true, you have become mentally unbreakable, making it impossible for the enemy to deceive or manipulate you. With your mind fortified by God's strength, the question now is, how will you use this newfound mental resilience to inspire others to reclaim control over their own minds? How might your story of overcoming fear and confusion help others break free from the chains that bind them? Your boundaries have become a key part of your spiritual defense, standing like an unyielding fortress that makes you untouchable. These boundaries are not simply rules but sacred barriers that protect your peace, energy, and spiritual alignment. While many struggle with guilt, manipulation, or the fear of rejection, you have mastered the art of setting boundaries that serve you without isolating you. C.S. Lewis once wrote, "The more we let God take us over, the more truly ourselves we become." By establishing firm boundaries, you have created a sacred space where only what aligns with your divine purpose is allowed to enter. This resilience mirrors the wisdom found in Proverbs 4 verse 23 above all else. Guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. By guarding your heart through these boundaries, you protect not just your peace, but your entire being from anything that could disrupt your spiritual alignment. Consider how many battles you've avoided simply by refusing to let toxic influences into your life. Your boundaries are not just about saying no to others, they are about saying a resounding yes to your higher calling and God's plan for your life. You've learned to discern what serves your growth and what drains your energy. Toxic relationships, chaotic environments, and manipulative influences no longer have a place in your life. This intentionality has created a sanctuary where negativity cannot thrive. Isn't it empowering to realize that by defining what you will and won't accept, you've turned your life into a stronghold of peace? The demons that once sought to exploit your compassion and empathy now face a firm, immovable stance. They can no longer manipulate you, guilt you into overextending yourself, or trick you into compromising your values. This transformation reflects Jesus' example in Mark 1 verse 35 to 38, where he often withdrew from the crowds to pray and refocus on his mission. Even the Son of God set boundaries, prioritizing his spiritual alignment over the demands of others. In the same way, your boundaries are a reflection of your self-worth and understanding that protecting your energy is not selfish, but essential to walking in God's purpose.